welcome back to Full Throttle TV. And tonight we've got the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series here at Knoxville. We hit the dirt tonight. See who's the king of dirt racing. It's going to be an exciting event. I'm Dean Doucette, in the booth with me, Mr. Brad Patterson. Brad, the truck's on dirt tonight.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen it so far this season with these trucks on dirt, and kind of a little bit of a different scenario, different track for sure. A little half miler here. It's going to be very interesting to see who was able to learn something from that first time and really put in a little bit more effort to kind of get this get this style of racing underneath their belt.
Yeah, going to be super interesting to see who the king of dirt here is at Full Throttle. I mean, we have a little idea. We've seen them in the past, but let's get right into our keys to the race tonight. Track position going to be key. The heat race is going to settle some of that. Of course, qualifying before that will also play a key factor. Staying alive. I mean, you got to keep that truck clean through those heats and everything. There's going to be some beating and banging in the future, and you got to at least be clean headed into that. And pointing down the straights. Brad, maybe talk a little bit about these trucks and trying to get them straight off that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys are going to really be going in the corner and they're going to yaw the back end of that truck out. And they're going to have to really steer it around the corners. And the biggest thing is trying to get it straightened out to really be able to put the power down. If that truck's still going to be a little bit sideways, if you were coming off the corner, you're going to get a lot more tire spinning, not necessarily the forward grip that you're going to need to put it in fast lap with.
Yeah, exactly correct.
But one thing too is I've been noticing watching these guys. There's a very nice, large size berm on the inside of these corners where if you come in too shallow, it will launch that truck up onto basically a separate surface layer. So that's going to be something we're going to have to watch in, kind of like a Martinsville curve, if you will, just on the bottom.
Interesting. We'll try and keep an eye on that for sure. Right now, Lane Allen on top of the board during qualifying. It's Trading Paints, a little late load up for the Trading Paints tonight, but they're doing their job. While these guys are doing that, let's go ahead and look at our championship standings. Bobby Terrell in the lead. We got a few wins on the season here. 647 points. Ferland in second with teammate Joly in third. So those guys at AccentLED.com are actually doing a great job here, second and third. Jared Carr has put himself in contention in fourth. Bernard Person in fifth. Coy, Allen, Nearad, McDaniel, and Torgensen your top 10. You see the guys in green, that means they have a win. And as long as they're within the top 25 in standings, they would make the playoffs.
Yeah, right there, back towards the back of that field, you're going to see the likes of Terry Cooper Jr. in the 22nd. He was able to better his finishing position by a couple of spots. He does have a win on the season, so he is one of those drivers that's right there at the tail end of that field. We do know that he missed about 5 or 6 races earlier in the season, so he's definitely doing everything he can to try to stay right there in the top 25.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big night for him. He's expecting big things, and we'll see how it all plays out here. Right now, a little bit of time left in qualifying, but all the cars off the track. We cannot show you those results as of yet, as they're not final. But Lane Allen, it looks like, going to be our pole sitter, Brad, and I'm not entirely surprised.
No, not really. I mean, he's definitely taken a little bit of a fondness to the dirt track here. He's been putting in quite a bit of time and effort, and Lane's just overall a solid driver. So, a very good car control driver, and that kind of suits him, especially on the dirt.
Yeah, Lane kind of an all-around driver, good on oval, good on dirt, good on road. So really, he's His consistency is going to pay off. He will be a playoff driver, and maybe, just maybe, he can get his way into the final this year. It'd be good to see him do that. Tony Solari also second. I don't know much about Tony's dirt prowess, but it seems like he's quite a dirt racer here, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole, you talked about it earlier, Accent LED and whatnot, and some of those other guys just putting in really good time. Tony Slater doing one of those fine jobs. Another driver that I'm actually kind of surprised at. We saw turned some very fast laps. That should be the 60th Manix Richet. He was very faster in practice, and it looks like he's over a second slower on his qualifying lap. So maybe taking it just a little bit too easy. Definitely not having the lap he was looking for there. So some of these guys, they're going to be generally quick, but they're going to be coming from a little bit further back in the field.
Yeah, and they might do that. So, and we're going to go right into gridding here on the heat. So we're going to head into heat number 1 here. This is going to be quick getting into racing. I love it. You see him already. So what we're going to probably have 3 heats. It could be 4, but I think 3. We're going to have 8 racers in there, 15 laps, no cautions. And really, this is all about positioning, Brad. Highly important here that these guys, Elaine Allen, Joe Flanagan, just kind of hold their position. They don't want to fall to the back here and make the main or the feature a big problem for themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We will have 3 heat races. We're going to have 8 in the first 2, and then 7 in the last one, and I think it's going to do that, and it's going to be able to get the butterflies out, if you will. You're going to be able to see how you do with cars in close proximity of each other, and actually with something a little bit on the line. So. This is your mulligan, if you will, before you really get into it. It's where you tear up your truck, and it really means a lot.
Absolutely. So our pole sitter, Lane Allen, starting on the front of heat number 1. You got Flanagan in second, Schultz, Bratton, Joly, Carr, Newton, and McDaniel. Should be a good heat here. Interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of unknowns come in with this first heat, and you got a green track, Brad. How much of a advantage or disadvantage when you've just been practicing on a really worn out track?
Yeah, it's kind of unknown at this point. I mean, it's definitely not going to be nearly as slick as it will be as we get a couple of laps on it. But this being only about a 15 lap feature, we might get a couple of laps of slick. Right off the bat, though, I expect Lane Allen to just take advantage of having that good starting position and just try to run away from the field.
All right, here we go. Off to the races. I believe the pace car. No, he's still out
Nope.
there. I could not see him from my angle. Apologies, but we're about to go green flag racing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I did notice. This is a very small track, and with the camera packages we got here and everything like that, you are kind of right up close and personal with some of these trucks. So it's going to make a very interesting night as far as calling some of the action. But rest assured, we're going to be right in the thick of the action all night.
Absolutely, we will. Lane Allen, Joe Flanagan, Ken Schultz, and Bratton, both another 2 are looking good out here tonight.
Green flag.
Green flag drops. It's Allen on the inside trying to hold off Flanagan. Flanagan got a good jump at that inside lane. Oh, and there's a 91 hitting that bump you're talking about.
Yeah, that really upsets the truck right there. You see the 14 though, Lane Allen. He's able to get clear of Joe Flanagan. Flanagan's going to be under pressure by the 91. 91 going to go right back to that bottom. Try to get the rotation. Right now it's going to be all Lane Allen and kind of that middle groove able to pull away.
Yeah, Lane Allen looking good out there. Got himself a little cushion, but Ken Schultz, talked to him earlier in the garage. He was feeling good. He's not sure he's got the speed, but he says he's got the consistency. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot different of a style. Schultz is turning really early and then trying to actually straighten the car out in the center of the corner. Lane Allen, it's almost like that truck never really gets completely straight on the straightaways.
Yeah, putting a little more power down. It could be a gearing issue where they're running different gears here. And we'll try and find out that later on in the day here.
Yeah, it could just be a rhythm issue as well. I mean, one of those things you just kind of put a little bit of wheel in it You just kind of ride the momentum around the track. Right now, he's able to choose any line he wants, and it's working for him right now. Is the pressure really no pressure in the back? A little bit further back, it's not going to be until you get to about the third position, and that's where your first battle is going to be right there with Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, Flanagan and Bratton both. I mean, Bratton has impressed me at least in practice and previous races and his dirt ability, and Joe as well. So these two pretty evenly matched, in my opinion. Behind them, you got Carr and McDaniel kind of battling it out, and then you got Newton and Joly struggling a little bit out here in the early stages, but lots of time to improve yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, improvement 42. Zach McDaniels there. He's actually started from I believe he started tail end of the field here, eighth, made his way up to sixth place. So you can make a little bit of strides and whatnot. Is he's one of those drivers that when we went to Bristol there, it was very you could really tell that he was not a dirt guy. He's really put in some effort, and he's starting to get a little bit there. You can just tell he's just not quite. Uh, or the truck's just a little too tight because that 42 is really not getting thrown in there, and I think he just actually got the wall on the exit there.
It's interesting watching him. You're right. He's not throwing that truck in there. It's not sliding at all. I mean, he's driving this as if he was driving Martinsville or something. He's having a little bit of success with that strategy.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did see at Bristol. Later on in the run, once you got quite a few laps on it, the guys that were actually using less throttle and driving it more like a traditional short track, they were making up a lot of time as we got later into that. Right there in front of him, Jared Carr, all over that berm, jumping that truck all around. But they were having a lot of success doing that, especially as the run went later on.
So talk a little bit about that portion of the track, the berm as you call it. What is that about, and why is it there?
It's just a difference of separating pretty much the mud, if you will, of the dirt. Oh, I believe Jared Carr might have just blown the motor.
It looks like he has Jared Carr pulling off the track, and that could be fatal. I believe there would be no chance to get in the feature if that's the case.
Yeah, so that's gotta say that these guys are shifting on those corners, or at least trying, or at least he was shifting, I would assume, to try to keep those RPMs up.
It's interesting. Let's just take a look at a replay, and maybe we'll hop on. You hear him coming through, and it just gives way. Bam. I didn't hear any shift. We'll back it up here and have one more look.
Maybe a situation where the tape didn't come off for qualifying, possibly.
I mean, he wasn't even really on the throttle at the time of shifting. He may have shifted down and created that blown engine by mistake. I'm not sure. But up front, we got ourselves a little battle with 4 to go. Kenneth Schultz has made his way up to Lane Allen and putting the heat to the 14.
You talked about it early on. You said Kevin Schultz didn't necessarily have the speed, but he had the consistency, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Oh!
Schultz into the outside wall as the word consistency hits the airwaves. So, yeah, everybody prone to a mistake, and that's big for him. This is not the feature. There was really no need to put the truck in a bad situation, but hopefully he's all right there.
Deals, just being a little bit too aggressive, counter steering, and all of a sudden it grabbed, and it just really, you saw just violently shoot that truck to the right hand side, and that's one of those things these guys are going to have to be cognizant of all night long, especially if you do have a truck to the outside, which the more trucks we get on this surface, you're going to see a lot more of that.
Absolutely. We look back, it's going to be Flanagan and Bratton doing battle here on the final lap, as Lane Allen is going to win our first heat. It's going to be Schultz in second, and here's the battle for third place.
I believe Flanagan took that over from Bratton, because Bratton was able to get by Flanagan earlier in the run.
So there we go.
Flanagan blew up.
Flanagan with a blown engine, a teammate of Jared Carr's, both blowing their engines. This is big, and maybe the rest of the team, if they're not in this heat, have got to make a change. My God, Joe Flanagan is out.
I don't know if is it a tape thing? Is it a gearing thing? Maybe shifting too wrong, just being a little over aggressive. That's definitely something that you got to think about. That team is kind of furiously going over to figure out how exactly to fix that because this was 15 laps.
Wow, just unbelievable. Let's quickly do our results here of heat number one. And you'll see there it's Allen, Schultz, Flanagan, who will be out with a blown engine, I believe, Bratton, McDaniel, Newton, Joly, Carr also blown engine. We look in on our grid for this heat. Tony Solari up there on the pole. Richie Coy on the outside of row number one. It's Bills and Helm in two. Person and Riche in three. Spear and Hannah at the back. And these guys both have work to do to get a better position in the feature.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'd be willing to risk it now. I mean, we've seen, a car get up into the outside wall. We've seen two with blown engines. I wouldn't be too surprised if I would just kind of ride this one out, especially if you're somebody like Spear or Hannah in the back that didn't have a whole lot of practice time and just use this race just to log some laps and to get comfortable behind the wheel.
We talk about that kind of thing. We talk about Daytona and the patience and stuff like that. And what we usually say is these guys are race car drivers. The patience goes out the window after about a half lap. So hard, easy to say and hard to do, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. I mean, it's just a matter of how much are you willing to risk. As Brian Helm, he's actually already tagged put that truck into the wall in the pace lap here.
Not a great sign for the 26, but we're going to see how this plays out. There is the pace truck coming in. It's Solari and Coy, Bills in person.
Green flag, green flag.
Someone had missed a line, I believe. I'm not sure. Maybe just laying off there was a bit on the 26.
Yeah, it's going to definitely open up the door, though. The 19 of Richie Coy, he's going to be on that top side. He's going to get a heck of a run with a lot of momentum. He's going to be able to actually clear the 11 of Soler as Tim Bills is going to try to work right in his tire tracks as we're still side by side for the lead.
Great job by Richie Coy, and I got to give it to Tony Solari fighting for all he's worth down here on the low side. He's got Bills all over him. Up front is serious battle in heat number two.
Oh, you see the 77 just lock up that front end, just lock up that front tire just a little bit to keep from getting in the back of the 11. 77 right now is a little bit quicker on entry, driving it in a little deeper. Now he's going to go to the top side, and he's going to try to follow Richie Coy on through on the top side.
Yeah, top side prevailing here early on. We'll see later on in the feature. Ooh, throwing it in hard. That 77 coming down almost to the 11 of Tony Solari, but he's going to clear him here. Richie Coy, though, your leader, he's got a big lead. We look back in on Bernard Person, and he's doing battle with a flashing Brian Helm, I believe.
Yeah, but you know what, right there too, that's going to be the 60 of Mannix Richey. He is all over the back of Bernard Person right now. It's very scary to think that this being such a tight, close battle, and you don't even know where the 26 is.
Yeah, 26 has lost connection, I believe, so that's unfortunate for Brian. Bernard Person here holding off to 60 right now. We jump up ahead of them. Solari
60 in the wall.
60 touching the wall seems to be okay at this point. Looking at Solari starting to battle back a little bit here as he's, got that consistent line as well, Brad.
Yeah, in the bottom there, he's still able to turn the corner very well. It looks like the 77 what got him there was really running the top side and kind of the middle and just really raw speed. As we start to put a little bit of laps down here, you're going to get a little bit of looseness. The track's going to start to probably go a little bit more to the loose side. And we've seen it, we saw it in the first race where they were able to kind of reel him back in. But right now, Richie Coy, still continuing to kind of set his sights up front. That truck looks good. He's getting to the point now where he's really getting good rotation in that corner.
Yeah, Richie's still setting the faster laps out here, and he looks really good tonight in the 19. A definite contender for the feature win.
And one of the nice things tonight we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to go in the cockpit of some of these cars and just kind of see what kind of action these drivers are doing on the wheel, the different lines, and just how much steering input these guys are really having to do.
Yeah, we hop on board with Tim Bills here, and we just caught him violently throwing the car in. Let's watch him down into this corner.
You got a little bit of the wall again there.
Yeah, a little bad example there, getting the wall, but we'll stick with him one more corner.
Well, that's just it. You see them just having to kind of flick the truck right before you get on entry. You can actually go a little bit to the right and then flick it in to keep that back end, essentially unstuck to the racetrack and be able to get the back end to just float around. You're seeing Richie Coy in front of him running about a lane and a half higher than he is on the truck. But it's very interesting to see the different styles here.
My goodness, and the work they're doing, Brad. Working that wheel, left, right, all over the place. Look in, there's Solari in third, Riche fourth, Person in fifth. You got Hannah now shown in sixth place. And Brody, watch out for him later on in the feature, because he gets some laps under him. He's quite a good dirt racer himself. The 83 Jason Spear out here just doing what you said, basically logging some laps, keeping her clean, and I think that's a good strategy by the 83.
Yeah, he's just doing exactly what he needs to do, and nothing can beat track time. Right now, we got a heck of a battle brewing right there in front of the 23 Brody Hanna. That's gonna be Bernard Person and the 68 Mannix Richet. Bernard has come up to the back of him right now. He's challenging.
Yeah, down underneath on the inside, the 8 of Bernard Person looking a lot smoother than the 60, a little ragged. Here comes Brody Hanna looking to capitalize. He throws it in hard, catches it, that car hooked up. He's going to be fine, I think. Riche trying to battle back on the inside.
Yeah, it's just showing you just how much tapping that wall on the exit of these corners is going to hurt you. We saw right there Riche get into the outside wall, and that allowed Bernard Person to really get by him and check out. Opened the door as well to the 23 Brody Hanna as Riche continues to battle back on the inside. I'm just not sure he has the truck as he gets it up on the berm.
Yeah, that's going to settle that battle. Out front, Richie Coy really dominant here early on after a great start to the race. From second, immediately taking the lead. He's going to be your heat number 2 winner. Tim Bills will be in second place. Tony Solari solid in third. Then you got Bernard Person worked his way up to fourth, and Brody Hanna picked up a few spots into fifth. And it's Riche and Spear rounding it out. Helm with a disconnection issue.
Yeah, good thing is Helm was able to reconnect, so he will definitely be in the main here, and that's definitely one of the good things where, it's kind of a little bit of a mulligan here with these heats. He will be able to transfer over, though.
All right. Right into heat number 3 very quickly. You can see there it's going to be Terry Cooper Jr. leading heat number 3. Claude Ferland will be on the outside of row number 1. Nearrad and Vrooman in 2. It's Politsky and Rupert in 3. And Bobby Terrell at the back of the field. Don't ever get to say that, Brad.
No, absolutely. He was another one of those drivers that lost a second from his practice time to qualifying. So that does not mean that that's a slow truck by any stretch of the imagination. Just probably had a qualifying lap that didn't agree with him. We're going to be able to see real quickly, though, what kind of truck he actually has underneath him.
Yeah, interesting to see. We have last week's first and second. That's Dale Nearrad and Terry Cooper. Cooper just in front of Nearrad here. Both of them talked in our interviews, Brad, how much they like dirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them had a lot to say, especially when it came to their competition on the dirt, and both of them expecting to walk away tonight with the victory.
Yeah, only enough room for one victor, but we got a few guys who want it, and it'll be interesting to see it. Right now, Cooper and Ferland. Ferland, too, not too confident about his chances tonight, but here he is on the front row.
Yeah, right here you got a lot of guys that aren't really going to roll over, and I don't expect this to be the patient heat, if you will. These guys are going to battle.
guys going to do some battle. Terry Cooper leading them down to the checker, to the green flag.
Green.
Ferland there on the outside. And wow, this is a good start by Ferland out there, but same with Nearrad. Oh, and little contact there. As you're right, this heat, they're going for it.
Yeah, given no room at all whatsoever, right on the door of each other, 44, almost into the wall. They're going to be right door to door with the 03 and the 44, given no room.
Wow, that is really no room there. Hard to control on dirt, whether you're given room or not. Once you've thrown it in, you're pretty much locked into the corner. But my goodness, Nearrad making the pass here. He's going to take second, so it's Cooper and Nearrad out front. Ferland, then we got Politsky. There's Bobby Terrell already up a couple of spots as he looks for better positioning for the feature.
And these guys are really throwing it in very deep. You know, the 25 Cooper, he's got that truck completely yellowed out. The 03, a little bit less, as you see right there. 25 just all over the place. The 44, Claude Ferland, you know, he's been all over the place. He's kind of tagged the wall a couple of times, got on the berm. And then you're going to have Andrew Politsky just trying to make his way up through there.
This thing's calmed down a little bit here. Cooper Jr. Nearrad starting to reel him in just ever so slightly.
And we don't look now a little bit further back in that field. You talked about it, the Ford's truck. Bobby Terrell came from the back of the field, currently up to 5th position, looking to crawl his way back up to currently right now Andrew Politsky in front of him. That Ford truck looking very solid, not kind of doing what we talked about with the 42 there. You don't see that truck really getting thrown in very aggressively. He is sliding the nose a bit, just a little bit, but he's under control in the majority of the corner.
Yeah, he's looking pretty decent out here as Politsky sitting in 4th place. Picked up a spot already on the evening. Bobby Terrell there, still fighting here. He's got Rupert. Rupert's starting to feel a little comfort level as he battles back here. Rupert with a hard move down to the low side here. He's going to get underneath the 4. 4 getting a better drive off, and in front of them, Politsky's all over the place. He gathers that back up.
Rupert all up on that berm, upsets that truck. That's pretty gonna cost him the battle right there with the 4 Bobby Terrell. That's Bobby Terrell. He's gonna be now on the back of the 96 trying to challenge to get into the 4th position.
Yeah, and he's going to look to try and take that, I would imagine. I mean, there's no sense in holding off at this point. You might as well go for it.
You see some of these trucks as this run goes on, they get extremely loose for the back end, just supposed to over-rotate. That's what we're seeing right there with that 96. We saw it a little bit earlier with some of the trucks in the other heats, but it's going to make it very interesting once we get 25, 30 laps on this track surface to see what exactly is going to happen. Is Rupert up to the top side into the wall?
Yeah, Rupert having a little problem back there. Politsky a little wide. There goes Terrell looking on the inside again as this heats up with 6 to go. This battle, we're going to stick with it here and see if Terrell can get the job done.
Terrell's just steering it with the throttle a little bit differently. He's just trying to get basically forward bite, and he's not really, diving it in, using the slide. He's trying to kind of finesse this a little bit more than dirt tracking.
And like you talked about, that could pay off later. I mean, this track is just barely getting slicked up here. It's going to get much, much slicker.
But what it also does is it seems like he's taking less of a risk. I mean, we've seen the guys, bounce off the walls on the exit, just down the straightaway. They get out of shape, just catching the slide and into the wall where, the Ford truck, it seems like he's just a little bit more in control, and he's not really using that truck up.
Yeah, the 4 is catching here, Politsky. I thought he was already around Politsky. You could have misremembered. There comes Rupert with a hard slide job there almost trying. He had to check up. He was going to slide into Bobby Terrell, I believe. Of course, Stephen Ruman's out here as well. He is at the tail end here, struggling as you see him on the berm there. 2 to go. Terry Cooper Jr. leading this thing. Dale Nearad still chasing.
And Terry Cooper picking up where he left off. We were back in Bristol. Did a heck of a run on his heat run back then, led every lap, doing exactly what he did. He's going to try to parallel that into a good finish. Unfortunately, Bristol was not the race he wanted. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to better that here tonight.
Yeah, Terry Cooper going to be able to take this heat number 3. Nearad will be your second place man. The 44 of Ferland coming around the corner will be in 3rd. There's Politsky trying to hold off the 4. We'll stay with this battle and see if there's a fight to the flag. Oh, a little bit tight. The 4 got there on the bottom, couldn't get it done. Politsky going to come across the line. Rupert will be behind Terrell in 6th, and then Stephen Fruman. So, quick movements, Brad, straight to the feature. Actually, we're going to have a 5-minute warm-up here. That's kind of good. Get these guys a chance to get back out. Different track conditions, Brad, and get a feel for that truck again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they were just on the track, granted, but, they were on the track with seven other guys. This time they're going to be on the track with 25 other guys. So, and the close quarters are definitely going to be something where you got to be careful of. You saw it a couple of times where guys going in, having to get hard on the brakes to keep from sliding into one another. And then, you're going to have guys that could be, several seconds slower, especially as the run goes on. And they're going to be right in the leader's way. So it's going to be very interesting, especially once we get some laps on this track and it really starts slicking up.
It's going to be super interesting out here. But right now, let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, they'll be close to ready to go green flag racing.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson.
Unbelievable finish.
It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead.
Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Aloma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It'll be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Low. 4 wide at the stripe. For all his work here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out? Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron, drag race to the line. It's so close to call. It starts right here and right now. Let's go racing from Daytona. And Ray Alfalla back to the top of the mountain, and Garrett Low pushes the 30 out of the way. He'll come back on him now. Nick Ottinger on the inside, winner of the eNASCAR iRacing All-Star Race. Novak will squeeze on the outside.
welcome back here to Knoxville, Tennessee, where we are about to go green flag racing. You're watching a little warm-up action here from the blimp cam. Brad, we look over these guys, and I don't even know what to predict. Do you have any predictions for us?
Oh man, this one's going to be a rough one. You know, if I'm going to be honest, if warm up shows anything that we're going to be in store for, we're going to be a rough couple of first laps. Hopefully those guys were just trying to see exactly how far they can push the envelope, because some of the guys having a lot of troubles with the state of the track and just the cars just being all close together like that. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I think you're going to have a lot of comers and goers for sure.
Yeah, I think you are. And, you know, with this many cars on the track, there's always a danger that the contact's going to come. The heats look nice and clean, sort of, but, you know, you put all these trucks together and stuff's going to happen. But let's look in on our starting lineup. Lane Allen on the pole here, the 14. A great job winning his heat. Richie Coy starts on spot number 2. Cooper Jr., you got Schultz in row 2, row 3, Bills Nearad, row 4, Flanagan, Solari, row 5, Ferland, and Bratton. And you can see the rest of the field there as everybody jockeying for position. And this is going to be super interesting, and survival might be the biggest key. We're seeing here, I believe, an EOL being given to Kenneth Schultz. He is going to drop from a previous penalty to the rear of the field. That's unfortunate, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like himself and Adam Newton, both of them dropping to the back of the field. And Adam Schultz, one of those guys we saw in a heat race, do extremely well. So it's going to be another one of those incidents where you're going to have a relatively quick driver towards the back of the field.
Having a little trouble getting it sorted out there. It looks like they're all sorted away. So no predictions, Brad. Did you put one? I didn't catch it. It's all good. We're going green here.
Green flag.
Lane Allen and Coy, Cooper and Nearad.
I'm going to say hurt feelings and bet sheet metal. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good prediction. Nearad already putting the power down. Coy up high, looking to do the same thing he did in his heat race and take it from the outside. Lane Allen battling back, doing a great job.
Yeah, these four guys really locked in together, and, you know, exactly what we expected down near all of the back to the 25. Gives them a little bit of a bump, nothing egregious or anything, just helping them down the straightaway there. And right now the 77 looks like he's going to try to get up here and make this a five-way battle.
Yeah, 77 going to join that front battle, and then behind them you got another like large battle happening as well. Let's go look up front and stay up there for a little bit though. Allen with teammate Terry Cooper Jr. now putting pressure on him. These guys are not going to sit back and just let the other one go. They're going to fight for every inch. Lane Allen leading Terry Cooper, Nearad in third, Bills fourth, Coy back to fifth now.
Coy using that top side, you know, just not working for him right now. Probably just trying to get a little bit of rhythm here. You know, we got some extremely fast guys up front. It's just going to be a matter of how long is this track before it starts taking a little bit of a change.
Our big mover so far, Politsky in the 96, has made up 5 spots up to 7th place. Looking pretty good out there. Back a little bit here, and you see there's Bernard Person, there's Zach McDaniel, he's got Jeff Bratton on the outside. Bratton, little ragged high. Here comes Bobby Terrell shooting the gap in the middle. Little bit of contact, they make it through alive. Bratton really struggling right now.
Yeah, really struggling right now. The beneficiary to that was Jared Carr. You know, Jared Carr able to come back from that blown motor. He's going to be on the bottom of the Ford truck. be able to make his way through that little dog pile, if you will, right now. Bratton still to the top side, extremely loose up top, as we see Schultz already making his way back through the field.
Schultz coming through. All these guys. Good to see Carr out there. I guess they reset the cars for the features, so some of that damage in the heat's not carried through. As Bratton continues to struggle back there. That's a shocking development to me. Something amiss with that truck right now.
Yeah, and Kenneth Schultz right there in front of him, the 91. We saw him take that EOL. He's been extremely aggressive, making his way through this field. Looks like he's got a little bit of right side damage, maybe used up a couple of drivers, if you will, doing some slides in the corners that you can barely make out his numbers on the right side.
Yeah, Schultz making short work of the field here, has moved up to 13th place, so he's up close to 10 spots already. Great job by him. Carr is up 10 spots right in front of him, and he's closing in on Zach McDaniel. Ahead of them, it's Bernard Persson battling with Politsky on the outside.
Yeah, where have we seen this? It looks like we just finished this battle right here on our last heat race, and they found each other. Again, you're going to have Bernard Persson. So, oh, I'm sorry. Actually, that wasn't Bernard Persson to Politsky. That was actually Terrell in Persson on Politsky. But Politsky still working that top side. Bernard Persson's trying to do everything he can on the bottom. These guys continue to race it out.
Man, oh man, they're hard, clean racing here, doing a great job, but no advantage to either guy. Very evenly matched. Look in behind them. Jared Carr going underneath the 42 of Zach McDaniel. I think he's going to clear him and take that spot. Looks like Politsky has won the battle, at least temporarily, with the 8. There comes the 8, back to the inside.
Yeah, they're going back and forth at each other. It seems like they'll get a good slide job as the 8's going to go right now. He's going to go up, maybe even slight contact with 96. But every time he'll get a little bit out, and the 96 will be able to arc it back underneath him and take the spot back, and they're just going back and forth. You know, these guys are probably having a whole lot of fun, but at the end of this race, they are going to be tired.
They're going to be worn out, no doubt about it. We go back up front. Lane Allen continues to lead. Cooper in second. Nearad third. Bill's in fourth. And a little bit back to Coy here, but he's basically right there. And it's Joe Flanagan, another guy who we thought blew an engine.
Yeah, Flanagan blowing that motor, coming to the finish right there. It looks like Richie Coy right in front of him having a little bit of trouble. It's going to enable Flanagan to close a little bit of a distance on him. But it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, our top 5 guys, they're still running extremely fast. Right now, Tim Bills is the only one really working the bottom of the track. Looks like Terry Cooper opts to, oh, it was Nearad into the wall.
Dale Nearad touching the wall. These top 4 guys battling it out. Our leader under pressure from the 25. He wants a round. Teammates having some fun out here. My goodness.
Laying out a little extra wide there right now. 25. Cooper trying to take advantage of it. They're going to be side by side going into 3. Give the advantage to the 25, but 25 not going to be able to get back into the throttle. It's going to be Lane Allen on that top side with the momentum.
Lane Allen just persevering on the high side, working a little harder perhaps for that track position, but making it work. He's going to get a good run here and get back into position. So Cooper giving it everything he can, just can't clear the 14. Behind them, Nearad still battling hard with with Bills right there.
Definitely let Nearad come right back up to the back of this duo. 77 of Bills is going to continue to work that bottom of the racetrack, and I got to think as we go on a little bit later is Cooper Jr. up under the wall a little bit in the second position. It looks like that top side, the guys are starting to slide a little bit more. Level 3 and Nearad, one of those trucks is extremely loose and yawing out quite a bit on these corners. He's losing a lot of exit speed because of that. But right now, Coy looks like he's going to be able to pull up to the bottom on the inside of Tim Bills as Coy started to use the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, Coy's starting to find that rhythm again, and I think he's settling in here. He looks like he's going to be a contender by the time this is all done here. We're on lap 20 of 100. Lane Allen continuing to lead.
It's very interesting because, you know, in 1 and 2, Coy's really giving it everything he can. He's throwing it in extremely deep, getting a lot of slide. But here in 3 and 4, he's not sliding the truck nearly as the cars in front of him. He's kind of middle off, if you will. But he really does do exactly what you were talking about early on the pre-race there, is he gets the truck straight before really putting the throttle down.
Well, we're on board with Coy here, and you can see a little, it seems to be going much slower right in that inside lane. A lot less wheel movement. Carr just seems to be well under control for Coy, where everybody else is working a lot harder for minimal gains of speed.
Yeah, I think that as the race goes on, this is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to have to do the old adage of go slow to go fast.
Yeah, the old go slow to go fast. No NASCAR driver understands it. I mean, they understand it, they just don't believe in it. They like to go fast to go fast. So here we are though, top 5 status quo. Behind them, it's going to be Flanagan, Ferland, Solari, Person, and Politsky, who's under pressure now from the ever-charging Kenneth Schultz.
Schultz has made his way up past Jared Carr. Jared Carr's still right there, though. He's not willing to give an inch. Still battling back on the top side. It's just going to be a 4-truck battle here in about a lap.
It is. This is where we're going to stay. We're going to keep with this little battle here. And I think you're going to see some heavy battling as Schultz just not having the straightaway speed. Politsky is sideways. Schultz is into him. They're up on the berm. We continue green flag racing. Wow, that's going to cost those 2 trucks.
Yeah, definitely a tremendous amount of time right there. You just saw it, the 96 yawed out just a little too much, wasn't able to get it to snap back around. Very slow, lazy spin, but at that point in time, 91 of Schultz was already committed to the bottom.
Now our leaders up into lap traffic of Stephen Ruman. Lane Allen down to the low side. He's going to get clear. We'll see if Cooper has any problems. Doesn't look like he will. Nearad now next in line to make this move.
We got about another lap, maybe a lap and a half before our leaders really start getting into the back of the field here. You're going to have, looks like Spear is going to be the next driver up, and then right after that, you're going to start getting to the point where we're going to have lap traffic, lap after lap for our leaders.
Nearad's truck looking all kinds of loose. Bills throws it in on the low side. He's going to clear him. A little crossover from the 03, but he's bent out of shape. I don't know if he wants to go down there with that truck, Brad.
Yeah, that 03 is extremely loose. We saw it early on. It's working for him right now. It's just, I think as his truck was already loose, and as this track loosens up, it might get to the point where it's a little bit too much of a handful. As you know what, Terry Cooper closing in on the back once again to the 14 of Lane Allen. He's got about another lap and a half before we get to this 2 trucks in front of him. You know, they might be exactly what Terry Cooper needs to be able to take advantage and get the lead away from the Lane Allen.
We got Mike Korth out there rooting on the gladiators of racing. It's going to be the 91, I believe, of Kenneth Schultz. And Kenneth was having a heck of a run before he had that little problem there with Politsky getting up onto the berm. You got Kevin Rupert in the 1, currently shown in 12th place. Lane Allen up at the front, still battling with his teammate. Oh, and there's a truck off the course there. I'm not sure. It looked like I thought it was Nearad, but it's the 3, not the 03.
Yeah, that would be the 3 of Adam Newton right in front of our leaders there. As our leaders are going to pull right up on the back of the 83, that's going to be Jason Spear. It's going to be interesting to see which lane they pick going in the corner, because this could drastically affect the race here. It looks like Spear's going to try to best he can get out of the way.
Let's have a look from on board with Tim Bills. Spear up on the berm trying to stay out of the way. Good job by him. I mean, that's really courteous racing here, but difficult on dirt to stay out of the way. Bill's handling it pretty good. Everybody looks clean so far.
Nearad is all over the back of the 77 of Bills.
Man, he is fast and loose. And we have another incident involving Kenneth Schultz. he is now in 20th place. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but Schultz was such a good trucker, good driver, and we talked about his consistency. Really, that's actually the problem tonight, as he's about to get lapped here.
It looks like a situation with Schultz there as he was racing hard with the 55 of Bratt and went into 3, had to check the truck up just a little bit, was already a little bit past the yaw point, spun that truck out.
Wow, just unfortunate. Here we go, the 25 looking underneath Lane Allen. He's looking to capitalize on this lap traffic and steal that low lane away. This is a smart move by the 25, and it might just pay off. Lane Allen way up the track, but gets a good drive off. Here he comes, just in time to take the low side. Wow, great job by the 14.
Yeah, we're starting to get into trucks that aren't necessarily going to want to go a lap down. Lane Allen, a little extra, little yaw out right there in the corner, lost a lot of speed, enabled the 25 of Cooper to get position back on the bottom.
Cooper Jr. down low. He's got position, but does not. Yes, he does file up in front of the 14. Put Cooper Jr. on the point. Lane Allen back down hard on the inside. Don't look now, but Bills is right there.
Bills is there. The 03 and near Reds there, not far behind that. Still hunting right there. The 19 of Richie Coy making his way back into this battle.
Behind them, you got Flanagan in there. And we got a caution on the track. Jason Spear involved. Let's get a quick look in on this replay. Here is the 83 of Jason Spear coming around. Everything looks okay. Coming on the exit. Got the truck fairly straight. Oh, an early little dip, too early, into the inside wall. And that will produce a caution. Not really causing any other problems on the track, but that's going to probably end the 83's night, or at least put him at the rear of the field. Well, Cooper Jr. couldn't have picked a better time to take the lead, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and now, here's the real question. We haven't really seen it. Does tires do anything? Is it worth coming in to get 4 fresh tires? Or, does it not really affect anything? Track position versus, 4 fresh ones.
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't absolutely know, but I'm going to go ahead and say no. There's no tire changing here at the dirt track. I don't think they really affect, the tires get too affected here, so be extremely surprised to see someone come in. Check in on Sylvain Joly, as we're showing that he had a problem also. I think I'm going to check the replay because he might have actually had a bigger problem than we thought. So this is Joly. I believe we are under caution. He is up behind the 19.
All right, man. Lights are back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green.
Not seeing why Joly is in the position he is in, unless he was in fact a lap down, which I guess he was. So he probably had to let everybody get on by. Yeah, and he is still doing that, and that's why we have a delayed caution here. So Joly letting the field go on by, really unfortunate to be a lap down at this point.
I think they're still trying to kind of figure it out. There's no lucky dog. I think he was thinking he was going to be a lucky dog, but I don't think there's any lucky dogs here.
Very interesting. Up front, though, this is starting to heat up, Brad. And are some of these trucks starting to come in? Some of the, some of these looser trucks, maybe too loose, tighter trucks coming in. But we're going to find out here. Cooper taking the high side. I like to call Allen on the inside.
Green flag.
Nearrad and Bills as the green flag drops. Here we go. Nearrad with a nice jump on the outside. Allen, though, driving down on the bottom. He's got a good drive through the center of the corner. He's looking to take this lead away right here, right now.
Yeah, right now that top side just a little too good on the top side. Let's see if we're going to be able to do it. We're going to be almost 3 wide as Allen had to gather that truck back up right in front of the 77 to Bill. So it's going to give exactly what Cooper Jr. on the outside needed. He's going to be able to clear Allen right now. He's trying to just put as little steering input in as he can to be able to just keep that momentum going on the top side.
Wow, Allen trapped down on the bottom. I don't think he likes it down there as much. And Nearad gonna slide up in a second. There comes Coy on the bottom. Coy looks comfortable down there. Nearad almost contact with the 14.
3 into the wall just a little bit. He had to check up the 77 right now. Everybody's going in the same direction though. But these trucks are really starting to slip and slide.
Yeah, man. Allen's got to find his way to that high side, I think. With 77 in the wall, doesn't hurt him too much. Allen's still stuck down there. Got to find a home or he's going to continue to drop. Cooper Jr., your leader.
And don't look now, the 57, Jared Carr. He's made his way up into this battle right now, making his way by. It looks like Allen, big slide out of the corner, going to have to gather it up, going to lose a couple of spots doing that.
Allen, just late race or mid-race frustration here. Coy going to make his way by. Talking about Jared Carr. Jared Carr now up 17 spots, shown just in front of Allen. Not sure he can hold him off here, but it looks like he might.
Yeah, the top side's getting extremely loose that last lap there in 3 and 4. We saw the top 3 trucks all of them into the fence right now. Terry Cooper Jr. into the fence. Or maybe not necessarily in the fence, but definitely on that outside berm, if you will, trying to straighten that truck back up as it looks like this track is just starting to go extremely loose.
It is, and I wonder who's prepared for it here. Right now, Cooper and Nearad, last week it was 1-2, reversed to this order. They both said how much they enjoyed dirt and looking forward to this. This is Dale Nearad. Let's highlight him here. This is his home track. So he's from this area, driven this track before, and he is excited to be here, and he's looking for a victory.
Yeah, I'm looking through these guys, looking at our top 5. I got to sit there and give the nod right now to the 19. Looks like Richie Coy's taking care of his equipment very well. He's just being a lot smoother, not really throwing the truck around as much as I see the guys in front of him. Still has a long way to go to be able to get up there to Terry Cooper, but I definitely like the way the 19's running.
Jared Carr hard into the wall. Didn't hurt him on entry too badly, but hurt that truck. Be looking for a blown engine there again if that continues. He is riding that wall so hard, Brad.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Right behind him, though, you're going to have Pepto Joe working the inside, doing a very good job of that. And we saw it early. Pepto Joe, he is not sliding that car all around. He's running it more like a traditional short track. The truck gets a little bit out of shape on him, but he's going to have Tony Slater right behind that, but on the outside, it's going to be Lane Allen. He went from our lead all the way back now, currently looking like in the 8th position.
Yeah, tough for the 14. Starting to battle back, starting to find that rhythm up there on the high side. And we got to highlight Solari as well right there. Tony Solari doing a great job early on in the heat races. He's battled his way back to his starting position in 8th. It's starting to come forward.
Yeah, and right behind him, that's actually going to be the 23 of Brody Hanna. Brody started deep in this field, able to really finally, looks like he's starting to get his rhythm, working his way through the field as well. Then you're going to have Bernard Persons, and then again, that 91 of Kenneth Schultz. He's passed more trucks tonight than I think anybody on this racetrack has been very aggressive doing so.
Yeah, the 91, a couple of blips have really cost him, and I don't even think they were his doing, but he got involved with a couple of trucks, and the 91, like you said, he has passed a ton of trucks, most of them 2 times. Back up front, we got a caution as Lane Allen has lost his vehicle, I believe. Let's get a look in on the replay. Lane Allen on the high side, yaws that truck out, bam, he touches the wall, he's grinding a bit, and he just overturns down into Pepto Joe, the 11 getting a piece of that. Looks like everybody else going to be clean, I believe. Just watch the end. Yeah, Lane's going to circle around in front of the pace truck, stay on the lead lap, and I think he's going to make it.
And we're starting to get some torn up trucks around this racetrack. You know, you're looking through the field, 00 Stephen Vroom, and that truck's looked a little worse for wear in the rear end of it. It looks like we're also going to have the 08 of Sylvan Joly. That truck tore up. 14 Elaine Allen, 83. Jason Spear continues to make his way around the racetrack. That truck's a little beaten, battered. Looks like 44. I don't know any truck that's clean. Let's put it that way.
You can keep going. There's no doubt about it. A lot of beat up cars. Lane Allen, though, so unfortunate. Now back in 19th place. Your early race leader for many, many laps. Terry Cooper, though, on the point. Nearad in second. Two guys who said they'd be there. They were honoring their word here, Brad. Up here fighting for the win. Got some tough competitors up there right behind them, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you saw it right there. You've seen it every time so far. Cooper, he's opting to take the outside to be able to try to get that launch, especially into the corner, be able to carry a little bit more speed, where you got to think that the 03 is going to have to, you know, check up just a little bit to make sure he's going to be able to rotate it, where the 25, he's going to try to power by on the top side.
You gotta watch out for Jared Carr. Jared Carr now up 17
Green
spots.
flag.
Green flag drops. Nearad down low, spinning the tires a bit. He's got an advantage down there. Cooper Jr. on the high side. Nearad trying to hang on down low. Here comes Cooper Jr. off the corner. And oh, he's not going to find the room that he's looking for. Nearad, lane choice, playing big. I think the low side better on the restarts. My goodness, they're battling near contact there, staying off each other. Cooper Jr. back to the lead. What a move by the 25.
Yeah, absolutely. He's able to slide up right in front of him. Oh, into the wall.
Heavy contact. The 77 also into the 03. And here comes Richie Coy down low.
Richie Coy, that truck looks really good, really clean. He's able to really work the bottom. He's not over-rotating the truck, which is going to be the biggest factor right here. Able to keep forward momentum going. He might not be as fast as some of the guys on the top side, but he has more grip overall right now.
He does. Very consistent. This could pay off. I don't think it's going to pay off this moment, but there's still a lot of laps. 40 laps remaining in this race. Coy battling hard, looking for the race lead down low.
I think right now he'd be good for just kind of...
Caution is out.
And it'll be interesting to see who's showing in the lead. I think Cooper's still showing in the lead. Hard to say for certain, though. As Coy pulls around, it might be Coy. Coy on the low side, the caution at the right time. He is going to assume the lead. Let's get a look in on our caution. It looks like two familiar guys involved in Bobby Terrell and Brody Hanna. Here is Bobby Terrell driving around, looking okay. He's coming down into the corner. There's Brody Hanna, head sideways. Bam, Terrell into the side of him. And these two are like magnets to each other lately.
Yeah, unfortunate right there.
How many times have we seen it in the past, Brad, where if you get involved with a driver for the next month, 2 months, 3 months, that's the only driver you ever see. That's the only driver you're ever involved with, and it continues and continues.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, sometimes you just can't get away from the guys. And then on top of that, you know, the last thing you want to do is, you know, have that conversation every weekend. You know, I didn't mean to get into you, you know, because eventually it's just a broken record. You know, even if you're being sincere, if you will, and somebody can understand exactly what happens, it still doesn't help the fact that their truck's on the hook.
Yeah, it's hard to go in there and apologize when you're talking to the same person over and over again. And, you know, who knows who's doing what or whatever, but the linkage between a driver is what blows me away. I've had it happen to me, to certain driver, and it might be months before we finally have a few races where I don't have an issue with them, and it's just surprising. It's almost like the world has some force that makes that happen.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, you look for it. You know you've had problems with the guy, and you just barely touch each other that you would have never even thought of it. But because of that incident, you're going to sit there and think, oh, it was on purpose and everything. As we go back to green.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brad. Here we go. Coy down low. He chooses that low line. I think that's a smart call. Cooper right back where he wants to be on the high side. He's doing a much better job up there this time. They're going to stay side by side down through the next corner.
Yeah, it really shows you, though, just how much more Cooper and them on the top side are really having to hustle their truck around versus Coy trying to be a little bit more preserved down on the bottom. Coy's actually going to take the lead here.
Yeah, Coy is just a lot smoother, doing a lot less work, a lot less damage to that truck as well. And here he is, just plotting along. It's funny, it's tortoise and hare out here, Brad.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one person that's not putting along, he's really throwing it in. That's going to be that 57 of Jared Carr back there. He has been trying to put it 3 wide to the top side and try to get around that 03 Dale Nearad.
Yeah, Carr's been strong all night, but he is driving extremely hard on that high side. We'll see if he can hold it up. Nearad's still fighting a super loose truck. He's driving like crazy to keep that thing up there.
Yeah, further back in the field. Oh, we got a spin. It looks like the 91 of Schultz. The 96 got together. Lane Allen involved as well.
My goodness. Lane Allen still just can't avoid the situations right now. Let's get a look in on a replay. So here's a 14 down low. Bratton's up high. You got, looks like Ferland is up there as well. In front of them, they're all touching the berm. Bam, there's contact. And then Lane Allen just a casualty. Politsky getting into, I think that is Rupert or Schultz, Ken Schultz. So Schultz, another one. Man, how many trucks has Schultz passed tonight? These guys, really good trucks back here, just can't seem to find the racing room they're looking for.
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, that whole incident actually started in the center of 1 and 2. Schultz went in there extremely deep, got the truck sideways and was having to catch it down the entire backstretch and really just lost the momentum to where everybody just, the closing rate everybody else had on was just so much.
Things winding down here. 32 laps left in this 100-lap feature. Coy up front, Cooper second, Bill's in third, Nearad, Carr fourth and fifth, and it's Solari, Flanagan, McDaniel, Person, and Ferland, your top 10.
You know, so a track like this, you would have to think that, you know, this is kind of one of those rhythm tracks that you really get involved with. And these cautions got to be able to kind of throw you off your game a little bit. You know, we saw that early with Lane Allen, you know, a dominant truck early on. All of a sudden a caution came out, kind of got thrown out of his rhythm, put in a lane he didn't necessarily want to be with, and the truck just didn't respond. You know, how much do you think this is really going to affect these guys?
Pepto Joe Jr. telling us it's Murphy's Law. That's right. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Green, green, green.
Right now we got Coy and Cooper doing battle again. Bills and Nearad and others fighting right along with them. They come through the corner side by side here, pirouetting through the middle of the corner.
At that time, Cooper was a lot more conservative going into turn 1, was able to stay right there with the 19. But here you go again. We're going to have two different battles here. You're going to have the top side, Cooper trying to put the power down, and then you're going to have the inside of Richie Coy just trying to finesse it around the track.
You know, Richie Coy just looking smooth as butter out here, putting that car back to the front. The 19, your pick at some point anyway, Brad. I like what you picked. I like what he's doing. He's looking solid.
Yeah, he's just running the track totally different than anybody else. The next closest person I see doing it is probably that 53 of old Pepto Joe there, if you will. You're seeing a lot of guys really struggling to put the power down. You know, you're seeing the 25. He's up on the berm, almost into the wall every corner. You got the 57, Jared Carr, really doing it. And you just see these guys really being violent, throwing it in. And the 19 just, you know, trying to be smooth, and he's making time, and he's getting good grip out of that truck.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to be concerned with who's beside him, how much run they get. He's running his race. He's racing the track, and the 25 struggling as he tries to get more power down. There goes Bills into second. Carr now looking to move up into third place. He's fighting with Nearad. Carr, or into fourth place, I should say, and he's going to grab that spot. Jared Carr now up 18 spots on the evening.
And that battle back there is starting to really heat up. Old Pepto Joe is going to be trying to work to the inside of the 03. That's going to be Dale Nearad. Nearad's been fast all night, but it's had an extremely loose truck all night. And like we said, you know, I think Joe Flanagan's been working the bottom, doing something quite similar to the 19 of Richie Coy, just trying to finesse his way around. But right now what's interesting is the 77. Oh, a little tap right there, our leader around.
Oh my goodness, Coy is around.
Man, caution is out. Caution
Heavy
is out.
And he's blown up. Richie Coy is out of the race. Oh. Wow. All night, just minding his business on the bottom. Here with a blown engine. Let's get a replay and see how this happened. Here he is. Regular line. Here comes a 77 of Tim Bills. Getting a little drive off. Oh, and a little sideways. Just an oversteer by the 19. His first mistake. Barely turned. And then a heavy hit to the front from Tony Solari. That's a blown engine. Tony Solari going to have serious problems with that truck as well. So nobody's fault there except for, you know, really Richie's himself. Is really his first mistake, Brad. And it cost him the race.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you saw Tim Bills right up on the back of that truck. You got to sit there and think that maybe he was caught looking in his mirror just a little bit too much and just kind of overdrove going into the corner.
It's so surprising, but I think, you know, maybe Bill's the first guy to run behind him in the same line. Everybody else has taken that high line. Bill's down there. Maybe you're right. Did fill up the mirror a bit, and maybe it was a different look for Coy.
And I really got to give credit to Tim Bills there. You know, he saw a driver really making his way through the field, doing good, you know, being able to pull away from everybody. And Tim Bills did something that a lot of the other guys haven't doing. He kind of fell in line right behind Richie Coy and was studying exactly what he was doing and was able to, you know, do the same thing and really made it work.
Yeah, great points there, exactly. He did pick up on that a bit, but also, let's give him his due. The 77 was fastest in practice. He's looked solid all night. Bit of a beat-up truck, but I think they all are beat up. And on the 77, now your race leader, 23 laps to go. He's definitely the man to beat at this point.
Yeah, but don't look now, that second row, you know, you got Jared Carr in that 57 on the outside. You're going to have Joe Flanagan. They're finally going to be close enough to battle for the lead. It's just a matter, we know Carr's going to be aggressive. How aggressive is Joe Flanagan going to be?
Speaking of aggressive, look at this start as the outside lane, Cooper beating the 77 to the punch. I'm not sure about the validity of that start, but we're going to go on with it. The 25 powering around on the high side, 77 trying to hang on to the low side. Wow, what a battle side by side here. The 77 and 25 both gunning it. That 77 on the bottom looking smooth.
Yeah, it just seems like right now the track, the better place to be is the bottom of the racetrack is right behind him. They're going to be three wide. Nearad to the inside, Flanagan on the in the middle, and then you're going to have Jared Carr riding that top line almost into the fence as the battle for the lead continues with the 77 and Tim Bills on the bottom and Cooper towards the top side. They're really leaning on each other.
Wow, they are really leaning all over each other. No space given here, no quarter given, but Bills perseveres and takes the lead. Cooper's been first or second all night, but a couple of comers have come up there and took it. He's fighting back on the inside. Wow, what a race these two are putting on.
It's so difficult once you get to the inside of a guy, just making sure that you don't wash up into him, and these guys are doing a great job doing that. You know, they're really being able to battle it out, and they're doing it really clean. They're staying off each other for the most part. Tim Bill's little mistake there. It's going to open up the door.
He opened up the door a bit, but Cooper also in the wall right before that. So these two are not backing down. They're giving everything they've got, and it continues to rage on. Oh, almost contact there. A little checkup. Good job by the 25 staying off, and behind them you got Near Red. Here comes Pepto Joe right in there, and he's looking like, you talked about it, he's driving a lot like Richie Coy was. Very smooth out of the 53. The 03, all kinds of struggles tonight with the handling on that truck.
Yeah, a little bit further back in the field, who are you going to find? You're going to see the 91. It's going to be Kenneth Schultz, currently trying to get in our top 5 because he's going to make his way around Jared Carr. Jared Carr has been moved to the bottom of the racetrack, and that is not where his truck wants to be. His truck is extremely loose on the bottom, and the guys just continue to kind of freight train him on the top side. It looks like the 8 is going to make his way by, and then you're going to be coming in contact with the 23 of Brody Hanna. Jared Carr continuing to fall back in the field.
Made all that work, and now you get on the bottom somewhere you don't want to be, and it just doesn't work out for you. But let's give Bills his due. Up here, riding the bottom nice and smooth now, has opened up a big lead. The Near Red Flanagan battle is really heating up here. Pepto Joe down on the low side. He's going to take this spot, and I think he's finally going to get clear enough. I'm not sure, but he looks like he's got enough room there, barely.
You talked about it earlier. It's the tortoise versus the hare right now, and we're seeing
caution is out. Caution is out.
All right, 14 to go. It looks like Jeff Bratton has had an issue. Let's get a look at it. Jeff Bratton coming around here in the 55. Everything looking good. Oh, and it just a little too much gas there, and a heavy entry turns that truck sideways all the way around. Caution out. No real damage. A couple other guys losing control, trying to avoid the situation, but everybody all right.
Adam Newton was involved, and Sylvan Joly, I believe, towards the tail end.
Man, and Tim Bills did not want to see this, Brad. He had finally worked his way to a safe spot. He had a little gap. He could run his line, and he's going to be back in the mix with Cooper Jr.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Cooper Jr. hasn't really been able to do anything on that top side. I mean, it just seems like the truck just doesn't have the grip. I mean, he's fast, don't get me wrong, and that truck has been hooked up all night. It's just that he's not able to really get the forward bite off the corners he needs. And I don't know if that's going to be a matter of, adjusting your line, or maybe coming in with a little bit less throttle to try to be a little more smooth, or what exactly is going to be needed. But plus he's going to have the 03 and Near all over him in his mirror.
He is. So it's Bills, Cooper, Flanagan, Near Red. Schultz now in 5th place. Person, Carr, McDaniel, Hanna, and Poliski in your top 10. Lane Allen, also a little mention, has made his way back up to 11th place.
We'll see just how much the 25 is going to crowd the 77 on this restart.
Green flag.
Man, he does, and they do, and they're almost touching as they start. A really solid start. Wow! That is serious crowding. They are side by side through the corner, and they're coming off identically. And behind them, there's contact with the 53 and 03. We stay with our leaders. Bills persevering here. A little overturned by the 25. Bills will clear behind. They're 3 wide here. Schultz, he turns the 53. Pepto Joe down into the wall.
Caution is out.
Wow. Joe Flanagan gets turned there and gets heavy damage.
Yeah, absolutely what you don't want to see. He's been having such a good race, making his way up just methodically. And then you see exactly that, unfortunate for Joe Flanagan, and another one coming off the nose. It looks like Kenneth Schultz has been in so many incidents tonight. Definitely not what he was looking for, but we knew he had a fast truck and he was coming from the back of the field. I'd have to relook at that one and see what exactly happened, though.
One thing is it's a case of three wide racing, but definitely Schultz come up the track a little bit and into him, but Pepto had no more room to give him, and it's kind of a racing deal, but also you need to back out of those situations. But we're not here to analyze that. I feel so bad for Joe Flanagan. Of course, Gladiators are racing, also the one of Rupert involved in that, so really collecting his teammate was Schultz as well in the mayhem from that. But up front, this thing is hot. We got Bills and Cooper, and on these restarts they're doing incredible battle. Bills keeps persevering. And then you got Nearad and Carr. Schultz, who's involved in that wreck but still will be in fifth. And I mean, we talked about how many trucks he's passed. My goodness, how many has he passed?
Yeah, he's definitely made his way around quite a few trucks tonight. He's been very aggressive and whatnot, and his truck's still pointing in the right direction. That's a good thing. At the same time, though, how much damage could that truck take throughout the night? I think right now he just needs to kind of settle down and not try to win it all in one lap here.
Well, 7 to go. I don't think he'll be settling down, so we're about to see how much aggression he wants to put into it. Bills and Cooper, as Cooper crowds him again here for the start. Pace truck is in. They're off. Better jump on the high side by Cooper that time, and there's contact. Bills looking for a little room, gets into him, comes onto the berm and back down. Cooper Jr. takes the lead. Carr up to third place. Interesting start there. I'm not sure about that. Nearad down low underneath Carr. He's looking to move up into third place. Bills trying to fight his way back. We're on 6 to go, 5 to go now.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting first lap there. I don't know who really initiated the contact going in one, whether or not it was Bills trying to get a little bit more room, or is Cooper coming down.
All right, man.
Definitely, caution.
And we're going to re-rack them and do it again, as we've got Sylvain Joly, Flanagan, Newman all involved. Let's have a look. Here we go. The 08 in the car on the high side, the truck on the high side, comes in front of them. Mannix Riche with a checkup, and he just gets sideways, does the 08. No real damage. Looked like a separate incident ahead of them. Back this up. We'll try and find Mr. Flanagan here. Get a look here. Flanagan coming around the bottom. Oh, and the 7 coming down the track, or the 3, I should say, coming down the track. That's Newman. Newman going to collect him, and Flanagan not having any luck at this point.
Well, I don't think I would end the race any differently here. Of course, I believe we're going to go into and have a green-white checker here. The real question is Terry Cooper Jr. all night has restarted on that top side. He's not gone to the bottom. The bottom just wasn't where he was able to work it. But the big difference, I think, here is he's going to be able to control that restart.
He's going to be able to control it. But like you said, will he probably take the high side again? We got to remember that last restart, there was some contact by the 25. What is in Tim Bills' head now? Is there revenge at hand? And Cooper going to choose the bottom. Is this a mistake, Brad?
You got to do what they're not expected. I mean, and right now you're kind of taking away the line from the 77 Tim Bills as well. And if 8 tires are better than 4.
Here we go, folks. This is going to be entertaining. You've also got Nearad and Carr, Schultz in person up there. Any mistakes at all, and these guys are going to capitalize. Here we go. Cooper and Bills. Bills gives a little more room. Green flag drops. Good start. That high side does come out flying. The 77 with a good run. 25 down low. He's up on the berm a little bit. The 77 with a better run off. He's going to power down. And there's contact. Wall contact again. They're still side by side. Jared Carr right in there.
It looks like he's going to have a little bit better of a momentum coming down the front side. It's still not going to be over, though. The 77, he's going to do everything he can to throw it in there on the top side. Jared Carr is going to try to take up the middle, but right now it looks like the 25 of Cooper, he's going to have the momentum and he's going to have the grip off the corner.
Yeah, it's all over for Bills, I think. Terry Cooper Jr., Jared Carr going to come up into second. There goes Schultz. Bills has had a problem. Schultz now into third, but Terry Cooper Jr. is out there taking the checkered flag. He'll be your race winner. Kenneth Schultz up into second place. Jared Carr third. Wow.
Yeah, Jared Carr and Tim Bills got into each other. That really opened up the door for Terry Cooper to just drive away from him right there.
Very interesting decision. Finally, Cooper chooses the low lane. What a job. Looked like we might have had a little extra after race curricular activity, but Cooper Jr., man, he fought hard for this one, Brad.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, he was up front all night. You know, we saw it last week where he was racing up front pretty much the entire race, and then right at the end only to lose it. So it's good to see him be able to bounce back. They ran really rough and really hard. You know, on that last restart, I went back and I looked at it. It looked like it was more an issue of tire spin that brought the two of them together initially, then a little bit of contact after that. But at the end of the day, it was just two guys really racing hard for a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. In this dirt race, a bit of an anomaly. We're not, we're not trying to judge any kind of contacts or things. I thought it was highly entertaining. Great racing here. And these guys put on one heck of a show with Terry Cooper Jr. bringing it home. Wow, just awesome. Right now, let's take a commercial break. We come back. We'll get interviews with our top three. Welcome back to Knoxville, where we had one heck of a finish there, a few restarts. Terry Cooper Jr. holding them all off. Brad, not a whole lot more to say. Quite always an exciting race to see these trucks out here on the dirt.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And, you know, keep in mind, you know, a lot of these guys are still getting familiar with the dirt programs, and the races are just going to continue to get better. And, you know, we saw it even tonight. You know, we saw some great green flag racing for a little bit. We got mired down with a couple of quick cautions and things upon that nature, but these guys really just running hard.
Yeah, they were running hard. They're doing a great job out there. As we look in on our race results, he got Cooper Jr., your winner, Schultz. Unbelievable effort to get back to second place. I mean, my goodness, aggressive, passing trucks, bad luck. He had a little bit of everything involved, and he barely had a truck left. Here he is in second place. Carr all the way up to third, up 19 spots. Bills will take fourth. Person in fifth. Hannah, out of nowhere, shows up in sixth place. Nearad, seventh. McDaniel, Politsky, and Allen round out your top 10. And Brad, you look around at some of the other guys on there, and just I see a Lane Allen, for instance. What some unfortunate races for a few of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lane Allen, Richie Coy, did everything he could for the first probably 3/4 of this race, even got himself up to the lead. Uh, Joe Flanagan, another one of those guys, running extremely well the entire night, and ultimately it just not going his way. So, there's a lot of guys that didn't get the finish that they deserved. But at the end of the day, I think overall these guys doing a great job and really learning this style of racing.
We look in on the championship points here. No big movements. I mean, Ferland going to close up on Terrell a little bit. Carr with a nice night. He's going to pick up a spot, as is Person. Joly falls a couple. Allen, Lane Allen recovered for a top 10. What a job. He's going to move up a spot in the standings. You see near Rad McDaniel. Coy loses a few. Man, the race was almost his, and here he is losing 3 spots. Brian Helm had a real quiet 16th place tonight. He also picks up a spot, and you see the rest of the field there. This thing's only going to heat up, and of course we do have the playoffs. Well, let's go ahead, Brad, and let's get right into interviews here as we bring in Jared Carr, known for broadcasting some races as well, road racing, oval racing. He hits the dirt surface tonight and moves up 19 spots, finishing third. Congratulations, Jared.
Yeah, I changed the number because Dean said he was going to, kept saying something about the 7. So I was like, I'm going to change the number. And I picked the 57 for Kyle Larson, and maybe I got some good luck tonight. I don't know how the heck I'm talking to you guys.
Well, you persevered. Early on, Jared, you can talk a little bit about how it was handling out there. I don't think any of us are known dirt racers, but we get out in these trucks once in a while. We start flinging them around, and it's a lot to handle in different lines. So talk a little bit. We've seen you running the high line early on. She looked loose and fast.
Yeah, the heat race, first off, I blew it up, so that was not good. And I had to start, 22nd or something. So I didn't have any expectations coming into this race. I've been one of those people where I know what I can do on dirt, and I lucked into a top 10 at Bristol. And then tonight, I'm back there in 22nd, and there was just some guys that, I don't know, they were driving some different lines, and I was like, well, I know I can stick up here on the high side, so I just went around them on the outside, honestly. And then I looked down, and I'm in the top 10, and I was like, okay, well, if I finish here, I'll be pretty happy. But the track changed a lot toward the end of the race. Couldn't hardly get the thing to stick up on the high side.
Yeah, we noticed that. We've seen guys like Coy on the bottom barely sliding that car, and he made his way to the front, had some unfortunate accident. But, late in this race, we had several restarts, and now I know you were happy with top 10. You were ecstatic with top 5, but you find yourself in a position to go for a win here. We're actually considering, my God, I think I got a hang of this. I get up here and take these guys.
Yeah, I think Tim was on the outside there on the last lap, and it just, there wasn't no grip. I know what happened to him, and he came down the track, hit me on the side there, and I think if that hadn't happened, I might have been able to get to Terry. I don't think I would have beaten Terry. Terry, Tim, Kenneth. Kenneth races dirt in real life. And Tim's really good on dirt on iRacing, and Terry and Dale, they've won on dirt in the league before in different either cup or truck. So, I was, like I said, I was content with where I was at. But, you start seeing the leader, and he's the only guy in front of you. You do start to think, maybe if he makes a mistake. Honestly, I thought Tim and Terry were going to take each other out on the not the last restart, but the restart before that. And I was like, well, I could just sneak in here for a victory, and I'll be pretty happy about that.
It was a real possibility, boy. They were taking some swings and they weren't given much room on those restarts. It was highly entertaining, though, Jared. You know, looking forward, I probably weren't expecting this great of a points night here, but it is a great points night. What do you think about next week? We look at New Hampshire.
Well, I like typically with the trucks. I like the road courses. I mean, obviously, which this third place in Knoxville kind of makes up for Daytona road course in a way. And then I like the short tracks and I like the flat tracks or tracks where there's lifting. So I was really good at Milwaukee, and Milwaukee and New Hampshire are the same type of track. Milwaukee's got longer turns. New Hampshire's got longer straightaways. So I'm excited about New Hampshire, but hats off to Terry. I mean, what a win for him. And it was a good race. And I just took my time, man. I don't think I made contact with anybody until the end of the race there. So I was just out there like, I'll take what I can get in this race. And it finally paid off.
Well, you took third home. It was fantastic. Biggest mover on the night, 19 spots. Great job all around. Congratulations again on third place.
Yeah, thanks, Dean, and thank you guys for the broadcast. Was watching it during the heats and very entertaining. I'll go back and watch the rest of the race. Shout out to the guys down at Fury and obviously Shock and Awe as well. Richie and Tony are great dirt drivers, and they did help me out a lot with the learning how to drive the track. So we'll see what we can do next week.
All right, good stuff. Brad, that's third place, Jared Carr.
Thanks, Dean. Right now, I'm standing by our second place finisher. That's going to be the 91 of Kenneth Schultz. And Kenneth, man, I think you saw everything tonight. From starting on the back of the field due to a penalty early on, came through the field multiple times. Just really kind of give us a glimpse into what your night really looked like and felt like to you from behind the wheel.
It was work. I'm sitting here still drenched yet. It was a tough race because I started back with the EOL and then got spun out once or twice. I got going the wrong direction, brought out cautions, and just kept working at it. And I was telling Kevin Rupert, my teammate, hey, I just need some brakes here, and I think I'll be okay. And caught some brakes late. But I got to say, as a whole, these guys did a pretty darn good job out there. The first, 40 laps, that was great out there. All those guys really put a great effort out there. And then got a little careless towards the end because everyone's fighting for that position. But it was a boatload of fun.
Yeah, and you talked about it. Everybody was starting off really good, really green flag racing and everything like that. It seemed like the track really started to change towards the end of that, where it looked like the top side really got out of hand, where it became really slick. I mean, you're obviously very familiar with dirt and dirt racing. Could you kind of just talk us through what, in your opinion, the track did tonight?
Well, I never really had a chance to try to top that much. I tried a couple times, was very unsuccessful. I just could not grab a hold of it. I seem to be running really good on the bottom, and people are sliding up, and I try to get underneath them, and it was a handful out there. I tried actually the middle of the track about 15 to go, and I found a little bit out there, but got late in the race, and I knew I couldn't really work out there in the middle of the track, but there was a small patch where you could grab onto, but I had to keep her down low on the berm, and it worked out pretty darn good for me tonight.
It really did, and we talked about it. I think you passed more than any other passed more trucks than anybody on the field tonight, probably multiple times over. We're going into a little bit later into the season now. We're coming up now. Next weekend, we're looking at New Hampshire, Lucas Oil, both tracks coming up here, both kind of a shorter track and not necessarily the fastest of track. What do you think your chances are coming into like a New Hampshire or Lucas Oil?
Well, the smaller the track, the better off I seem to be. So I'm looking forward to basically Lucas Oil. That track kind of suits my driving style really good. Hard to say, man, I either nail it or I'm way out of the ballpark. So, I have to hand it to my teammates who helped me with the setups and all that. And Troy Torgerson from GT Motorsports and all that. Those guys helped me a boatload on Wednesday nights and all that. So I'm hoping to do good. I got momentum on the side. I just got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what you did tonight. You battled through a lot of adversity. You talked about the EOL early. A couple of spins, some contact, damaged race truck, but ultimately you were able to come home second. Uh, I know you just thanked a lot of people, but I'm going to turn it back over to you one more time. Just make sure you thank anybody you need to thank, and congratulations on the second place finish here tonight.
Well, I want to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast and for the league for putting on an awesome league. I really appreciate running. All the spectators who watch you guys on a regular basis, man, thanks a lot. I got some friends at work who like to watch and greatly appreciate the watching and all that. Again, my teammates, Kevin Rupert, Rob Shoemaker, great gentlemen to race with, good friends. Looking forward to seeing him in real life person someday. But just thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be talking with you tonight and being a good competitor in this league.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on your second place finish. Dean, that was Kenneth Schultz, the driver of the 91 truck. I believe you're standing by with our race winner tonight, though.
Yeah, I got the 25 Terry Cooper Jr. winner here at Knoxville. Congratulations, Terry.
Thanks, Dean. That was a tough one.
Wow, that is a understatement. What a race. Let's start early. It's you and your teammate, Lane Allen. Lane Allen leading, you trailing. Very tough to get around him. You guys look pretty good early on.
Yeah, the top side of the track was fast early on, like everybody predicted, and Lane was fast. I wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was just trying to stay there and wait for him to make a mistake. He's my teammate. I'm not gonna throw it in on him, but I just waited for him to slip up and made my pass.
Yeah, it was, you guys were doing a great job. Not too aggressive, as you mentioned, but let's jump into the later portions. We've got several restarts. You continue to start on the outside. It's now Richie Coy has made his way up there, and it's a tortoise and the hare. He's running slow and low. You're running fast and high. Richie makes his way in front of you right before that caution flag comes.
Yeah, that's about the time the top side of the track was going away, and my truck was actually set up for the bottom. I was really fast on the bottom. I just hung on to that top too much.
Well, you did. I mean, or you hung, I don't mean too much, but you were hanging on up there and you were struggling. Later on, you're battling Tim Bills. Wow, this is incredible stuff. You guys, you're giving no quarter. You are right on the side of his car on those restarts, and you guys are fighting tooth and nail, clean as well. Beautiful racing. But we were wondering, coming down, you kept choosing the high side. Will he take the bottom? And yes, you chose the bottom there late.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the bottom to come in like it did. It didn't in practice at all, and but once that bottom came in, yeah, I had to take it.
Well, you took it. It was a great call. It was a great battle with you and Bills. Things got more and more heated. I mean, you can only expect after several restarts that this is going to be what happened. But man, you were put to the test time and time again tonight. You grabbed the victory. What an awesome job. Great points night. Solidifies you, in that top 25. You got a couple of wins now. You're going to be a playoff driver. We look ahead to next week now. It's New Hampshire. I mean, you got good feelings. Second place last week, win this week. Go to New Hampshire. How you feeling?
I actually really like New Hampshire, so I feel pretty good about it going into it. We've got some momentum behind us with these two good finishes, and definitely looking forward to that track. And I want to give a shout out to Tim. Man, that was good racing on those restarts. I know I didn't give you much room, but that was that's dirt racing. It was clean and it was fun.
It was awesome to watch, man. And, every time we interview you, you like the next track. Perhaps the playoffs should be starting right now with the momentum you have, but hopefully you can carry it forward, Terry. You could have a possible championship here. It's going to be a blast to do those playoffs and watch all that happen. But congrats again on the victory tonight here. Winner at Knoxville. And the floor is yours, brother. Anyone you want to thank, any shout outs you want to give.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank you guys for what y'all do. You're doing an amazing job. I enjoy watching the broadcast afterwards, and I want to thank my team. Without them, with the setup help, it wouldn't be possible. Blackwater and Steve Berry Racing.
All right, Brad. There it is. Terry Cooper Jr. in the 25, victorious tonight.
Yeah, he did. They did really a great job all night tonight. And, I think we're starting to see, the players starting to come to the forefront, the guys that are really going to be contending for this championship. And you're seeing just how much that these guys are really going to put it on the line and give no quarter to try to win this championship.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna get so. I mean, dirt's different. We'll give it that. It's not necessarily indicative of what you're gonna see on an oval, but it's a lot of fun. Things are heating up, and points becoming more and more important to see especially in those last spots, top 16. Wins inside the top 25, and then points gets a little complicated to figure out who's there. But we're getting close to that spot where some of those guys racing, it's going to come down for a few of them to 1 point, perhaps. Going to be highly entertaining. Of course, we're going to have all that action right here on Full Throttle TV. So every Wednesday night, 9 p.m., you can see the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series. We've also got a full slate of other broadcasts here. Come back and watch us every night that we're on. And I think for tonight, though, that's going to wrap it up for myself, Dean Doucette, and for Brad Patterson. And we'll see you right here next time on Full Throttle TV.